Well, good evening Internet, and as always I hope this finds you well, and tonight we delve into the very darkest depths of humanity for our subject this month. I'm of course talking about Birmingham. And we're going to be taking a look at its favoured son, Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath fame. So for new viewers, if you're not sure what all this is about, basically I spend a month transcribing the licks and riffs of a particular guitar player, write an article, pop it up on Patreon, explaining a little bit about that player's style, and do a little video like this demonstrating said licks. If you're enjoying this video, if you would like to support what I'm doing, then you can hop on Patreon, Ko-Fi and Subscribestar for a mere £2 a month and help support the channel. You'll get early access videos, you'll get Discord access, you'll get blog articles, all that sort of good stuff. A whole lot of subscriber only material coming up on there. Anyway, meantime then, let's take a look at some of the licks and riffs here. So the first one I've chosen is a little bit of atypical release, kind of late era Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio, and this is the riff to the Mob Rules. Now the original is tuned down a semitone, as Tony Iommi was quite fond of doing, but this is real classic rock stuff. I didn't actually recognise this as a Sabbath song when I first heard it on the excellent Disney series Alien Earth, but it's absolutely one of my favourite riffs, and we are talking about an A power chord here, with the flat 7 there, the G note, with a little quarter tone curl bend. And then we're using the C note here, the flat 3rd, pulled off to the open string, and back down to that flat 7. And then we're repeating that for 3 bars. Before going up to the D. So we can view that as being the 4 chord. And then G to F sharp to G, so you can see that as kind of applying a G chord. You might think of that as a flat 7 chord. And although we traditionally associate Sabbath with minor keys, this has got a bit more of a Mixolydian kind of vibe to it. And I initially thought of it as New York Dolls or maybe a Guns N' Roses B-side, but it's an absolutely brilliant riff. I'm going to play it again just for a couple of minutes just because it's fun. So let's play that through slowly. And then more up to speed. Okay, moving on to the second exercise, I'm going to go clean tone for a second here. And this is a slightly atypical Sabbath song. This is Planet Caravan. And I'm just going to show you the riff first. So we've got an E minor chord, which I suppose is nothing to be particularly surprised by in a Black Sabbath song. And then we're playing this rather interesting variation on a D chord here. So this is, you can think of this as maybe being a D6 add 4. So I've got the D note, 5th fret A, F sharp note, my major 3rd on the 4th fret of the D, open G, that's a 4th, open B, that's the 6th. And that's just a straight 8th arpeggio. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now I'm just going to pop that in as a loop, because what I want to do next is demonstrate one of the jazzier lead licks that Tony Iommi plays over the top. So what we've got here, we're using the B minor scale, which when you superimpose that over an E minor, we're going to get the sound of E Dorian. For those of you who know your modes, B minor equals D major equals E Dorian. And it just gives it a slightly trippier feel than being straight up minor. So here is the lick. I'm just going to slow that down. There's your pickup, and there's a slightly dissonant B flat there, but we resolve it as we go to the A note on the 10th fret B, and that's the one that falls on the downbeat. That's like the subject of the lick. And we're finishing off with these little semitone slides, heavily emphasising that C sharp. So there's your pickup, and then a little 3-note D major arpeggio here, back to the C sharp, so I guess you could call that a D major 7 arpeggio. And when we hear that in context, so a little bit different from the normal screaming pentatonics that we would associate with Tony Iommi. But let's return to those old school screaming pentatonics. We're going to take a little look at War Pigs. And let's go back to some grip. And so this is old school E minor pentatonic. We get up in first position here. And here is the lick. Now, students of mine are going to recognise the magic 3 notes concept at work here. So I'm starting with the traditional bar across the 12th fret B and E strings and the 14th fret bend on the G. And we're doing actually a sextuplet rhythm. And we can think of that as kind of stretching the spring back, creating the tension, which we then resolve with a bend on the D note, 15th fret on the B up to the E root. Then we've got a run down the pentatonic, and you're all going to recognise it's the magic 3 notes. So again, create the tension and release with a big bend. So pull the spring back, let it go, pull the spring back, and run it all together. So here we are slowly. Let's try that one again, each time in tune. Slowly. And then up to speed. And honestly, if you put that through a wah pedal, you've got basically most of what Kirk Hammett played with Metallica during the late 80s and early 90s. Okay, let's wrap this up with Paranoid, because of course we're going to do Paranoid. I can't do Black Sabbath without looking at the one song that even I knew before I started this. Now this is also E minor pentatonic, but what we're doing is showing Tony Iommi being a little bit more unafraid to move around the fretboard. So we're going to be mixing up position 4 and position 3. So here we are. Picking off with it at root note, then up a tone and a half into the G note. And then working our way down position 4 into position 3. And listen to the rhythm of that. Da 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 da. One thing that comes across in a demonstration video, which really doesn't, I can't really tab it out, doesn't make such much sense when you try and write it down in sheet music, is the way he would use a rhythmic motif and milk that. So even at a kind of a micro scale there, what that's doing is just making everything sound a bit more cohesive on a very subconscious level. And then we start working our way back up into position 4. And then we've got a couple of pre-bends. So I'll play through that slowly. Do that a bit more. No, let's do it again slowly without the cock up. There we go, now let's go to a bit more speed. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. Do please remember to like, share, subscribe. Don't let these Hollywood production values fool you. This is a small operation run on a donated PC and a couple of old mobile phones. So all support, all interaction is all welcome. It all helps the almighty algorithm. So with that said, let's wrap things up before I start to waffle, and I'll see you on Friday for the 1 minute leg. Alright.